Queen Elizabeth II of England admits she's not human and that we will learn to accept her for what she is. We keep reading and hearing talk of full disclosure regarding alien ETs. Every day we see new articles or hear something new from, for example, David Wilcock. But we notice there are more movies and TV series regarding aliens and UFOs and interacting with them. But why don't they just get on with it? Because we're trying to sort out what is real and what is propaganda. We put together a survey asking who believes in aliens and who believes we will have full disclosure. The survey was taken by 2,360 people, and here are the results. Do you believe in aliens? Yes, 77%, no, 23%. Do you believe NASA is a reliable government agency? Yes, 32%, no, 69%. Do you believe in Project Bluebeam? Yes, 54%, no, 46%. Do you believe full disclosure will ever happen? Yes, full disclosure, 29%. Yes, but it will be a false flag. Project Bluebeam, 34%. And no, 36%. And if you believe we will receive full disclosure, who will give us disclosure? 34% believe it will be Vladimir Putin. Now, recently it was reported that an internal document acknowledging that Queen Elizabeth is a shape-shifting reptilian was briefly published as a press release on the royal family's official website before being abruptly taken down, but not before alert
Christmas
internet
message.
users.
Enjoy your final Christmas, in quotes. Posted on December 25th, 2015 by Baxter Dimitri. And look at how many comments it has. I'm just putting that out there. Okay, so we see the Queen. And now let's see what the article talks about. It says, the Queen dropped a bombshell yesterday while filming her annual Christmas message for the BBC, hinting at deep personal regrets over the murder of Princess Diana, a BBC insider claims. Now, before I go on, I just want to talk about what she says in the video, and I'll leave a link below. She mostly talks about lightness and darkness and how light will overcome the dark. Hello, people, wake up. She's not talking about, our light. She's not talking about Yah. She's talking about being illuminated, just like the full moon on Christmas. She's talking that the fallen angels, they will bring the light to the darkness.
It's taken me very long to unpack our cameras and begin to photograph what I have come to call the winged nightmare in front of us. Richard, however, refers to it as the fairy. I remember looking at Rick and saying, "Do you think it's real?" He looked at me and shrugged, and I don't know. Notice the pointed ears, the double wings, and the pointed teeth protruding from the thin-lipped mouth. Both creatures were jet black and very bizarre looking, to say the least. I immediately thought of the creatures that we read about in the book of Revelation. Here is the scripture, and you can decide for yourself if there's a modicum of correlation between this ancient text and what lay in front of us. And the fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to earth, and he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke like the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened with the smoke from the shaft. Then from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given power like the power of scorpions of the earth. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth, or any green plant or any tree, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. They were allowed to torment them for 5 months, but not to kill them. And their torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it stings someone. In those days, people will seek death and will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them. In appearance, the locusts were like horses prepared for battle. On their heads were what looked like crowns of gold. Their faces were like human faces, their hair like woman's hair, and their teeth like lions' teeth. They had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the noise of their wings was like the noise of many chariots with horses rushing into battle. They have tails and stings like scorpions, and their power to hurt people for 5 months is in their tails. They have as a king over them the angel of the bottomless pit. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek he is called Apollyon. While the black-winged creatures don't fulfill all of the requirements of what comes out of the bottomless pit in the book of Revelation, there are some similarities that I can point out. First off, this creature was almost a foot tall. One creature had 2 sets of wings. I looked very closely to see if these things were puppets of some sort. In my opinion, and that of Ricardo, who was the geneticist who examined them very closely and did DNA testing on them, said these were not the results of molds or puppets or a cleverly constructed hoax. I want to add something here, folks. There are 2. The one in the cigar box, Richard and I have never really investigated the way we investigated the one in the jar. The one in the cigar box, we lean towards hoax, but the one in the jar, we believe is real, and here's why. What's more, I looked at the place where the wings attached to the body. It looked perfectly natural to me, as I saw no evidence of glue or staples or some other form of attachment. The hands were curled up and the bodies were stiff from rigor mortis. The face wore sort of a grin-like expression, and I could see clearly teeth protruding from the thin, upward curled lips. The eyes were shut and the body was thin and appeared very
Korean
muscular.
researchers became the first in the world to prove the precision of CRISPR-CPF1, a new DNA editing technology. Their research has raised hopes and expectations for new treatments.
We are warned of this genetic tampering in Genesis 3, where we read, "The seed of a serpent will be at enmity, at war with the seed of the woman." We know that the seed of the woman eventually leads to the birth of Messiah. I would state here, the seed of the serpent will culminate in the anti-Messiah, or what is commonly known as the Antichrist. This is a literal exchange of genetic information, as the Genesis 3 narrative states that the seed is sperma. While this may be extremely unsettling to some, it is, in my opinion, a biblical fact. And with that in mind, we are seeing evidence of it all over the planet. Richard Shaw and I have come to call the creature that we observed in Jaime's office the fairy. That may be a misnomer, we don't know. But we were both taken aback by what we saw. And frankly, had it been alive, I think our reaction would have been one of terror, and we certainly would have been taken aback by what we were seeing. As I stated earlier, this winged creature was almost a foot tall and had wings attached to its back. The black, leathery skin, the pointed ears, the fangs protruding from its mouth, and the sinister expression on its dead face. It was, even in death, somewhat terrifying. When we read the prophecy found in the book of Revelation, we are told that the abyss opens up, and out of it comes creatures that defy our imagination. Seeing these creatures in Jaime's office, I am certain that what we read in the book of Revelation is literal and not
Vladimir Putin. And you won't believe what Putin had to say. Senior staff and colleagues that Queen Elizabeth II is just not human. Now, Putin met the Queen at the 70th anniversary of the D-Day landings in Normandy, France in 2014. Now, Western media criticized him for failing to assist the monarch up the stairs and protecting his distance from her throughout the ceremony. It has now emerged that Putin stayed his distance because he witnessed her shapeshift moments earlier. Now, Putin related to associates that she had an extended reptile face and was a sickly gray watercolor. She shifted between reptilian and her human state 3 or 4 times while greeting Putin.